Greetings 385. Congratulations on making it halfway through the course. We have just 4 weeks left, so keep up all the excellent work that you've been doing, and congratulations on that halfway mark. This is week 5. All right, so a couple of assignments this week, really talking about how is learning in history different. Okay, what are the different strategies that we're learning or that we should be using when we're teaching history? So there's a section of the book and then your Slack group. Those have been going so well. I'm so glad. And then there's an Edpuzzle Socratic seminar and then some resources, and then you're going to be diving a little bit deeper. So let's take a look at these assignments. Okay, so first is the Slack group. And so you're going to read chapter 9, the whole thing. I know I don't normally do that, but it's really important. And then part of chapter 2, and then answer these questions with your group. The next task is learning like a historian, and I've shared a bunch of different resources with you. And then you're going to just review 2 or 3 of the materials and then talk about them in the text submission box. So let's look at, all right, here we are in Brightspace, and we're going to choose week 5. Let me get rid of this guy here. And so here's your reading and Slack discussion. Okay. Then when you click on Learning Like a Historian, there are a bunch of different links, okay? And I want you to pick 2 to 3 of them and then talk about how you might use some things from that class in here. And it's really important that that answer is specific to those resources. So they should not be general, it should be specific. I would use this thing from the National Archives in this way, okay? So then the next task is the Edpuzzle playlist. So this is a couple of videos. These are mostly open-ended. In our class, when we're learning about teaching, watching other people teach, watching case studies of actual classrooms and seeing what's on the board, how are students seated, how is the teacher presenting themselves, that is just as important as something we read in a book, because we're going to preparing to be teachers, right? So that's why these videos are really, really important to me, because you get to see this. There's a elementary grade, a middle grade, and a high school, so you can compare. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Apologize. You can compare how the Socratic seminars are structured differently, how they are doing different classroom management techniques, how they have information presented on the board. So it's really important to see different grade levels and reflect on your practice. So if I was that teacher, would I do the same things? Would I do different things? How does that reflect that compare to what I experienced as a student? So it's mostly open-ended. There's a couple of multiple choice in the last one, but it's mostly open. And you can find the link to that here. And this is kind of, or here, this is kind of just what I just said now about why it's important to watch the videos and how the videos can help us. Final assignment is the unit outline. So in this class, we start off really big. We start off with the annual pacing schedule, and then we're going to go to a unit, and then we're going to narrow down until eventually we're doing a specific lesson in the educational studies lesson template. And so this unit outline, you're going from the whole year to a unit, which is typically from 3 to 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. So it's over several weeks. I highly encourage you to look at the examples first and look at the rubric and then read the directions. So I did put those above the directions in. So here we are in Brightspace. And I believe to get to the rubric, yes, right here. So where it says assessment unit outline, this is where you can see the rubrics that I'm using. And these are great to use as a self-check to what you're learning, what your work is. So read it before, and then before you submit it, read it through and check I really encourage you not to use a lot of worksheets. Worksheets are not engaging learning. Use things you've used in this class, things you've learned in other classes. Students are not demonstrating a lot of knowledge with worksheets. They are busy work. So I encourage you not to do a lot of that. When you're looking out there, I absolutely should not be purchasing anything from Teachers Pay Teachers. That's would be considered plagiarism, so please don't do that. But these are the steps, and again, if you look at the link at the 2 different examples, those are good places to start. All right, that is it for week 4, but one more thing I want to show you actually. That is, if you remember back in week 3, we had an assignment that you had multiple weeks to complete. The cultural learning experience. The cultural learning experience is due at the end of this week. It's back in week 3 because I can't figure out how to move it into Brightspace. I know I know how to move it in Blackboard, but I have not figured out yet how to move it from week to week. That seems impossible. But the due date is there, and so if you're using the assignment list on the course homepage, it should show up. But this is due at the end of this week on March 3rd. So don't forget about the cultural learning experience. All right, that's it for Real Now. I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care, and I'll get those assignments graded to you from week 4 as soon as possible.